What things never to say to your girlfriend? I remember in high school my GF at the time was singing to me, and then I went on to say, you know who can really sing well? She's really good. Now that I'm older, I look back at how stupid that was. My boyfriend is a sound engineer and was asking me to sing a track on a song. He prefaced by saying, don't worry, I can make you sound actually good, like Adele if you want. I'll never let him forget that, lol. I was once walking by my girlfriend bending into the freezer at her parents' house. Nobody else was in the room. I got an idea to gently slap her bottom, but then decided against it. Turned out it was her mother. Never have I been so glad that I remained calm and with sound reason. Always double check whose butt you're slapping, kids. I once grabbed a complete stranger from behind because she was wearing a similar jacket to my GF. I've never been so close to a well-deserved butt kicking in my life. I apologized so much the girl told me to chill. My ex told me that my friend looked better than me. It kinda made me conscious about her, especially if he mentioned her. Why the frick would someone say that? Most things said in the heat of an argument. Words matter, and they can cut someone far deeper than any physical weapon. And once you've said them, you can't take them back. So watch what you say during an argument. Once you really get to know someone, you know exactly what buttons you should avoid in the heat of an argument. But I know all of my wife's insecurities and those topics are completely off limits. I would never use those against her and she would never use mine against me. Anything that would indicate that your love is dependent on something other than her character. For example, as long as you look hot I'll love you, etc. And ID avoid things that they can't control. Your laughter sounds awful, etc. Those things hit deep and very very hard. As long as you keep cooking those pierogi I'll love you. Anything that makes them feel insecure. Really, even if you do break up, don't ever say I never loved you. They will forever remember that and it will stain their future relationship. Uncertain if they really do love them. Yeah, what's up with that? That can seriously mess up anyone of any gender. One time my friend GF said, if I had to frick one of your friends it would be my name. I think I panic laughed, but man I felt bad for my friend. They're actually getting married in a couple months, so you know what? What do I know? Oof, you can't really do anything. Just pray it was innocent. From a woman's perspective, all said by my ex-husband, I'd frick the crap out of your sister. Your best friend is hot as frick. It'd frick her brains out. You should just be grateful. While having a major depressive episode, people don't view you and your sister the same. She's a 10, and so many more. Just a rule to follow: if you wouldn't like it being said to you, don't fricking say it to someone else. Frick that guy. OMG. My blood boils for you. Think before you speak. Smile more. Being cute is not your thing. Stop with all the selfies. Your bestie is sexy. Put down that extra cake slice. Jabber. Spit and gag on it more. Not sure about the last part. During intercourse, you like that, you freaking retard, and don't pretend you have never even heard of, seen, or eaten potatoes. I get that potatoes reference, I think. Send a happy birthday message when you can meet her instead. Say I thought you didn't like the concept of celebrating Valentine's Day anniversary. You're not like the other girls. You're weird if she mentions she needs to think about whether or not to have kids in future. You're a S if you think her ex was hotter than you are. I know none of these make sense, but true. The you're weird one is so true. That happened to me too. That made me tell him that at least I'm not planning on having kids when I know dang well I'd be a crappy father. Don't let her know her cooking sucks. I had a girl make me French onion soup every other week and it was awful. It was gelatinous, sweet, sour, and usually burnt. She knew it was my favorite soup and she tried so hard to make it every time. I could see how flustered she got in the kitchen. I was the cook in the relationship. I always ate the whole thing and told her it was perfect because I didn't want her to upset her. Besides, I like to see the satisfaction she got from making me food. Well worth the lie. If I were to serve a loved one food and it was awful, I'd definitely not want them to tell me it's perfect though. It'd be so embarrassing if I thought my soup was lovely and then try to serve it to other people. Obviously I also wouldn't want my loved ones to just bluntly say that it's disgusting, lol. But maybe it tastes a little off, and an offer to try making it together next time. I wish you could just keep your cool in situations like this. My boyfriends go to phrase literally every single time I have a panic attack over any given panic-inducing situation. Not helpful. 0/10 do not recommend. I once told my GF she was being controlling, and apparently she hated that because her exes have all said that. So it's less of a shouldn't have said that and more of a lesson learned. People don't like the hard truth. Out of all the things we've said to each other in arguments over the years, I've never said she was controlling again. LMAO. Consider yourself controlled. I would double down on that crap out of spite alone. I'm not going to hold your purse while you spend my money. When you make as much as I do, I'll clean up around here as much as you do. I don't actually try to forget your birthday. It's not the jeans that make your butt look fat. It's not that I hate shopping. I just hate when your credit card bills come. If you have not guessed, I am no longer married, and these are all actual things I told my wife over the years. We were married for 20 years and raised 3 wonderful children into competent adults before she decided to upgrade to husband 3.0. These were the pearls that honestly I regretted ever saying, and paid for many times over. Especially number 2. After uttering that prideful dig, I lost my job. She went back to work while I stayed at home working part-time online and caring for our 2-year-old son. Gave me an appreciation for all she did that I took for granted. And my son and I are very close. Something I never expected. I count those unemployed months as the most precious and valuable of my life. Divorce is 6 weeks of pain, then 6 months of confusion, followed by 60 years of happiness. We are both happier, thanks. As my marriage was collapsing, I went to therapy that completely changed me and my relationships with everyone. Too late for my spouse, and I hold no anger toward her. I was simply not the man she wanted to be with. As it turns out, neither was husband 3.0, as she is quite a narcissist. Would I ever utter these things to another so? No way. I'm far more in touch with my feelings and everyone else's. I hang them out here to warn others that words are powerful and have consequences. Relationships are fragile and take constant effort. The missus was complaining one day about her medicine and how it's making it hard to lose weight. Mind you, she poked at me getting a belly, which I wasn't. I'm fit from drinking, so I quit. I could tell she didn't like it and we were a new couple. Anyway, I remember that as she is bitching, so I say, or it could be that big butt glass of whole chocolate milk you take to bed with you. Not only did she not find me hilarious, but she didn't speak to me for the rest of the day because I called her fat. Things she tells you not to. Seriously, don't walk on eggshells around a partner. Just listen to them when they tell you you upset them. Keep an open dialogue. Be intentional in your relationship. Do not rely on others to define your relationship unless you, yourself, want to be defined by that group, which is valid, such as people wanting to fit into the culture religion, but is not something I would advocate for. In high school, my ex was feeling insecure, so I said something like, those girls might be a 10 in society's eyes, but I don't agree with those standards. You're more attractive in my eyes. A while later we were in an argument and she said that I was calling other girls 10s in front of her. Totally twisted what I thought was something nice and turned it against me. When I was 17, I went for a trip up north with my dad for work. We'd only be gone a day. My girlfriend at the time posted on my wall that she would miss me, and I responded with, why? I'm only gonna be gone like a day. Ugh. Why couldn't I just have said I'll miss you too? Babe, nope. I was an idiot. Side note, I also dumped her 2 days before the ball and I still took her. Then I wondered why she was crying. Man, I was a freaking idiot. Me. Come on. I'm like half your size. Relating to height. XBF. PSHHH, come on, you're not half my size. Me. What? What do you mean? XBF. You're pretty chunks. Chunky. Just saying. You're more than half my size. Proceeded to get upset with me for getting upset and crying at that statement. Word of advice, don't you ever call your girlfriend fat or chunky. I was 160 pounds and had an average build. He was 230 pounds with a belly. My self-esteem took a huge nosedive after that. Even after losing 20 pounds and toning up, the constant criticism had already taken its toll. Do not compare her to an ex. even if it's to say she is better at X or Y or better looking. You might see this as a compliment. She won't. She'll see this as a contest she doesn't know the rules of since she doesn't know your ex. That doesn't mean you should tell her all about your ex. Simply never mention your ex. Play it safe. Don't comment on her when she asks how she looks. Run around it. New outfit? Do I look good? Don't say you look good bad. Say it doesn't look good on you or it looks great on you. Don't comment on other girls being hot, ugly, cute when near them. Unless it's a game you have. I know some couples that love to make fun compliment strangers passing by. Avoid these, and you should be good. I remember when I was a young man I was having the "do you want kids" conversation with her. I went on a long rant about only wanting my own kids and how adoption is just like buying a used car. Turns out she was adopted. Never crossed my mind. That relationship didn't last long. I still feel the same about bootleg kids. I'm a tad biased, but I have had 26 fosters and I have 14 adopted kids. You don't need to adopt or even support it. Just realize some kids don't have much of a choice. We started as a safe house for abandoned and abused kids and we were very lucky financially, so we had 3 of our own and made room. A child and a used car is no comparison. Do you only date virgins who you can trace the lineage of? A child's love is boundless. They put everything out there and take the cards they get dealt. Some get hurt in the process and some never get the care they need. I'm not looking to fight with you, everyone has their own opinions. Just because a child is in the foster system doesn't make them defective. They are still humans and deserve a modicum of respect. You are smarter and better than your chosen words. In an open, honest relationship, you should be fine to talk about anything as long as you're not being abusive. For example, directly insulting or gaslighting. And don't try to crap on their hobbies or goals. That just makes you an butthole. It's hard to talk to someone about stuff like their weight, drinking habits, or hygiene, but they're all appropriate to bring up in an LTR, as long as they're approached correctly. Anything about your ex, especially when said ex is intimidating her in one way or another. You don't even need to compare her then. Just the fact that that girl exists is a bitter pill to swallow. Example, my current girlfriend, who is a lot into fashion, makeup, etc., recently found out that I dated a model beauty peakant. She was sort of pee off all week. I didn't say anything insensitive, and I of course didn't show her my ex or gave her name, but she was pretty angry regardless. That said model was a complete mess and dating her was infuriating as heck. Didn't matter. My girlfriend basically reduced it to her being pretty and knowing her stuff about beauty. What do you want to eat? Or any variation of this question about picking something inconsequential. It will almost always lead to a frustrating back and forth. I've found that all of my past girlfriends just wanted me to pick while considering what I know she typically likes, even if she complains about where you pick. Example, I'm hungry, what do you want from Chipotle? Or, but I don't really want that. Can you pick something else? No. You can either come with me or I'll drop you off somewhere else so you can get what you want because that's where I'm going. Okay, that's fine. I'll get something with you. Boom, problem solved. This isn't to say you should be a domineering butthole about it. Just take the lead and take her preferences into account. I made the mistake one time that I thought would be innocent. Me and my wife were getting groceries at Walmart one day and we passed by a woman I used to see regularly at my old job, just as a customer. She would come in often, so we recognized each other as we walked past. We both just sorta said hey to each other and smiled. Now, keep in mind, this woman was very attractive. After walking a few feet, my wife leaned in to ask me who she was. I smirked and said, "Oh, we used to date." My wife turned her head back to look at the woman, then looked at me in shock. Really? I laughed and said no. Months later she still brings it up. I learned that even if I did date someone we come across, it's better to just say something like, "Oh, she used to come in my old job" or something. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.